All right, guys, welcome back to the Pocket Mads channel. It's Maddie here, and Ruler of the Skies releases tonight. However, the major update that they kind of pushed to Pokemon Pocket was last night, and with all of those game files being pushed and updated, the set has been data mined, and basically we have the entire set list for B4 Ruler of the Skies. We're going to be going through the entire thing today, talking about all of these new cards. This is going to be my official set review, meta analysis. It's going to be a ton of fun. Tons and tons of cards in this set. I'm super excited. The metagame is going to be completely changed. This season is going to be very, very exciting. We will be live for the actual set release in-game tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be doing a max pack opening, and then after that, we're going to be testing decks and playing on the new Pocket Mads ranked battle queue over on pocketmads.com. Go and check it out, link down in the description below, and tune into the live stream tonight. Also, all of these new cards should be up on our website probably tonight or tomorrow. So we're going to be, posting a bunch of different decks on the community feed and whatnot. So, definitely stay tuned for that. Also, before we get into the video, the PMPT number 40 tournament, the upcoming tournament this weekend, the first tournament of this new season, is already open for registration. So link down in the description below if you want to go and register for PMPT number 40. All right, let's get right into it, guys. Let's just do it. This is going to be a long video. I don't know if I will put timestamps on this video just because there are so many cards, and we're going to be talking about mostly all of them. So this might be a long video. No timestamps, I apologize. Feel free to skim through or just watch the whole thing, which I, of course, definitely appreciate. Super excited. Okay, Ruler of the Skies, man, this is insane. B4 is finally here. We're almost at the end of the B series, which is insane. But let's start off with Wurmple, and then, of course, the associated Beautifly and Dustox evolution line. So Wurmple here is a 60 HP basic with Gnaw. Does 10 damage for, of course, 1 energy. I need to zoom out a little bit if I can. Next up, though, is going to be Cascoon. So Wurmple can evolve both into Cascoon and Silcoon. So the first one here is going to be Silcoon. They both have the same attack, which is Cocoon Collector for 1 colorless energy. And you put 3 random cards from among Silcoon and Cascoon from your deck onto your bench. So basically, 1 colorless energy attack cost and a stage 1 80 HP grass Pokemon. And it's going to fill your bench with all of the Silcoons and Cascoons, basically, from your deck, which is kind of crazy. Now, it won't actually pull the Wurmples out of your deck, because assuming you're going to be playing 2 Wurmple, and then now this allows you to be playing basically 2 Silcoon and 2 Cascoon. But again, fundamentally speaking, you're not going to be able to evolve 2 Wurmple into 4 different Pokemon, so this is a very unique thing in Pokemon Pocket. We are able to populate our entire bench full of Silcoon and Cascoon. That's going to be 4 total Pokemon, counting the one, of course, in the active that we might evolve into. And again, Cascoon has the same attack, Cocoon Collector. So you go Wurmple, and then you evolve into Cascoon. We can do this with Quick Growth Extract. It's honestly going to be kind of interesting to see. And then, because we have 4 Stage 1 Pokemon, we can, of course, play 4 Stage 2 Pokemon, because there are 2 Beautifly and 2 Dustox available. And these are the Beautifly cards. So the first one is Evo Flight, rather. 130 HP, Stage 2 Grass-type Pokemon, single prize. This, for 1 Grass Energy, does 30 damage, and 30 more for each evolution Pokemon on your bench. So, on your second turn, I would assume your third turn, actually, because you're going to evolve into Cascoon first, you can then immediately just start hitting for, 120 damage? So 30 times 4 if you have a full bench full of evolution Pokemon. Really not that bad. It is kind of a slower type deck. Yes, we do have Quick Growth Extract, so there's some consistency to it. But since you kind of have to go into your Stage 1 Pokemon, it's not going to be like super easy to get into Beautifly that early. You can attach Leaf Cape to these grass Pokemon. 160 is not that bad for 1 energy, hitting for 120. It is strong. This is actually a very interesting new kind of grass type archetype. But again, you're going to have double Beautifly, and then the other 2 attacking Pokemon that you have available are Dustox, which has 120 HP, Cutting Wind does 60 damage for 2 colorless, and it has this ability, Variety Powder. Once during your turn, you may use this ability, so it can be on the bench, which is pretty cool. So this is going to be kind of the bench-sitting Pokemon, whereas Beautifly is probably going to be your Pokemon in the active actually attacking. So I actually like how this archetype is coming together. It's quite nice, in fact. Once during your turn, you may use this ability. 1 special condition from among Burned, Confused, and Poison is chosen at random, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now affected by that special condition, and any special conditions already affecting that Pokemon will not be chosen. Quite a lengthy ability there, but basically, The way that this goes is if your bench is double Dustox, you can use Variety Powder twice, once for each Dustox, and you're either going to burn, confuse, or poison on the first one, and then the second one, it's going to choose between the 2 status conditions that weren't already selected. So the whole concept of this new archetype is that you're going to use Quick Growth Extract, you're going to flood your board with Evolution Pokemon and Grass Pokemon. With the Cocoon Collector, you're going to have Beautifly in the active spot attacking for 120 or 90, whatever kind of ends up happening once your Pokemon get KO'd. And then on the back line, you have things like Dustox, 2 Dustox, which are going to be populating your opponent's active Pokemon with status conditions. It's a very cool archetype. This is kind of a whole holistic package here. You are going to be playing a lot of Pokemon, but again, the concept of the deck is to pull all those Pokemon out of your deck. So it's going to be quite an interesting archetype, one that I actually think might be kind of fun. As far as single prize archetypes go, you can play Leaf Cape. Unfortunately, lots of status protection in the game. PCL is everywhere. Ogerpon, things like that still see a bit of play. So the status part of Dustox is going to be interesting for sure. But I actually really like this whole package. It's pretty cool. So there it is. I like this. I'm not going to give these cards like particular ratings, but I will say this is like definitely going to be totally respectable fringe meta type deck. I mean, maybe it's good enough to be like a real meta contender. I just don't know because of the turn 3 pacing on it. Definitely not bad. Next up, we have Laleep, which does Blot. So for 1 energy, although this is a stage 1 Pokemon because this is a fossil. Okay, so it evolves from the new fossil. These are new fossil Pokemon. Grass type fossil, by the way. So I believe, will Quick Growth Extract work for this? I don't know if it does because the fossil's probably not a grass Pokemon. I forget what the wording is on Growth Extract. 90 HP, 40 damage, heal 1 from this Pokemon, 1 energy. Credilli is the stage 2 fossil. You're likely going to be rare candying your fossils as we typically do. And this has Stick and Absorb, 150 HP grass type, single prize Pokemon. 2 grass energy, 70 damage, heal 30 from this Pokemon. And during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon cannot retreat. So Leaf Cape, you go to 180 and you do heal 30. There's other grass healing cards. It's not terrible. I don't know if it'll be, again, that strong as far as, Pokemon Go and Pokemon Pocket, but it is interesting. And then here we have a Cricketune, which is Kricketot 60. So Kricketot 60 HP, not 50, but it evolves into Cricketune, which does 50 for 1. And there's a bunch of Pokemon like this in Pokemon Pocket that do these types of things. It's really not. These cards aren't bad at all. I just don't really think they're ever going to be like that relevant, right? We see them all the time. The 50 HP single prize, 1 energy. Stage 1 Pokemon, you know what I mean? But next up here, let's talk about the first new EX card that's coming up, which is going to be Vespiquen, or I always call it Vespiquen, but I guess it's Vespiquen EX. This card is actually really strong. It evolves from Combee, which is a 50 HP basic, so Lycia is possible here. This Pokemon does 30 damage and 10 to itself, so it can KO baby Pokemon for 1 grass energy, but then it evolves into Vespiquen, which is a 140 HP stage 1 EX card, so worth 2 prizes. And the attack on this thing is a bit of a doozy. Again, 140 HP, 2 grass energies. You may discard one of your benched grass Pokemon, and if you do, this attack does 70 more damage. So we're not able to discard more than 1 grass Pokemon to deal additional damage. Effectively, for 2 grass energy, you can hit for 140, but you have to discard a grass basic Pokemon from your bench. Now that's interesting. That's an interesting attack. This card to me is like not bad at all. Like when you really think about it, we have Lycia, we have Quick Growth Extract. It's only at 2 energy attack cost. There's not a lot of grass ramp, which is unfortunate. And you got to think like which grass basic Pokemon are we discarding? There might be some synergies here. We'll keep an eye out for it, but it's really not a terrible card. Again, you can Leaf Cape this thing to go to 170. It's not terrible. This is not a terrible card. This is one of those like EX cards that are very fundamentally sound. It's very solid. Everything here kind of fits the bill. It does have a retreat cost of 2, which is a little tough, but a low energy attack cost, 140 damage. Not a terrible condition for that attack, and a decent amount of HP. Grass has a ton of support, so anything grass type we need to really kind of look at with that in mind. We have Fragrant Forest, we have Quick Growth Extract, now we have Lycia with the 50 HP Combees. We also, of course, have Leaf Cape, right? So there's a lot going for these grass type Pokemon. This card's totally fine. It might be kind of boring to some people, but this is a very strong, respectable card. Shout out to Vespiquen. Okay, now we do have Carablast and Shelmet, so we are, of course, getting the Gen 5 GOAT, Excelgor, and there's also going to be there's Excelgor, and then there's Escavalier, I think is what it's called. I pronounce it wrong every time. But anyway, this is going to be Excelgor. These Pokemon, by the way, both have 60 and 70 HP. They are what they are. But Excelgor here, stage 1 grass, double colorless, and the attack cost, deck and cover, 50 damage, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned and paralyzed. Shuffle this Pokemon and all attached cards into your deck. Okay, so it's interesting. This is an interesting card. I mean, poisoning and paralyzing is interesting for sure. I just don't know how we're really, because you shuffle it back into your deck, so you can, of course, like pull it back out with quick growth extract. Maybe you can Sightseer to grab it again. The difficult part here is once you shuffle it back into your deck list, you are getting rid of the basic Pokemon. Not only that, of course, but it's 2 colorless energy and its attack cost. So it might be difficult to continuously kind of use this turn after turn, but there will be ways to do this. So we're going to have to just keep an eye out for Excelgor. Kind of reminds me of Galvantula, although Lightning definitely has more like energy, acceleration going for it. But it's an interesting card. Definitely interesting for sure. We have this Delmise, which is not a good card. Does 70 for 3 on a basic. We are getting a new Pheromosa, which is another single prize Ultra Beast here. We already have a Pheromosa. In fact, we might have multiple. No, I think we have 1. But anyway, 70 HP, 2 Grass Energy, Prelude, does 30 damage rather, and if you haven't gotten any points, it does 60 more damage. So I don't know if I love this card. Again, we don't have a lot of Grass Ramp. There's Leafeon EX, but again, it's not something that's like super high tier meta right now. I like this Pheromosa, but I think the other one's just better, right? Like having kind of a basic Pokemon like this, which is typically like a leadoff, especially because this is supposed to be early in the game where you haven't taken any points. It's a little bit of a hard sell, but it does deal 90 damage, which like inherently like is pretty strong. You can use Lusamine, I suppose, to get the energies from your discard pile. So there is going to be some potential. I know a lot of people have talked about Rainbow Cave. If you don't know what Rainbow Cave is, we will cover it, but it's a new stadium card. We talked about it in previous videos. It allows you to kind of just put energies into your discard pile and generate a new energy, right? So you kind of just are able to populate your discard pile with energies. That's kind of a big deal because we do have Lusamine, but I believe there's a condition on Lusamine, which is that your opponent needs to have taken a point. So we can't like turbo energy in the discard and then use Lusamine unless we have a way to like give our opponent points. So it's not something that I think is like that crazy. But if Lusamine, if Lusamine didn't have that condition, I think that the Ultra Beasts would be a little bit too strong with Rainbow Cave. So that's a good thing, I think, for all of us. But I believe that's the case. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Lusamine has that condition. So we're just not going to be able to turbo Rainbow Cave Lusamine onto the Ultra Beast, but it would be crazy. Next up is going to be Poltergeist. Poltergeist here is a basic grass Pokemon, and presumably you would play this with maybe Vespiquen. Once during your turn, when you put this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may heal 30 damage from your active grass Pokemon. This is interesting. I don't think this is that good because it's only a one-time effect. We don't have really any or a lot of like scoop up effects to reuse this type of effect. It's an interesting card. It's an interesting card. It's basically potion, a one-time potion when you bench it. Let's see. So Poltergeist should evolve into, Sinistra. Sinistra is the evolution of Poltergeist. Another grass type, stage 1, 80 HP. And this does Scald for a grass and a colorless, 40 damage and burn. Scald. So I guess maybe I don't know. I don't really know. Maybe I suppose in Vespiquen, if you're just trying to play, grass basic Pokemon, maybe Poltergeist kind of fits the bill in a way. You can heal, and then you can also just sort of discard it and make more room for other Pokemon to bench. We don't have a lot of effects, especially for basic grass Pokemon that have on play when you bench them effects. So it's interesting. It's kind of the only thing that we have in the game that does that. So I presume maybe you're supposed to play Poltergeist with Vespiquen, which again means you forces you to discard, or you have to discard a grass basic in order to use the attack. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know how good that is. But anyway, we also have a new Teal Mask Ogerpon. And this guy right here, Ogre's Whip, 90 HP grass basic, 3 energy, and this attack does damage to your opponent's active Pokemon equal to this Pokemon's remaining HP. I don't know. I don't know about that one, guys. I don't know about Teal Mask Ogerpon. That to me seems a bit of a throwaway card. But we do have a new Ponyta in Rapidash. The Ponyta has Stoke. Take a fire energy from your energy zone and attach it to this Pokemon. Allows you to go turn 2 on the Rapidash Heat Blast for 80. This does work with Blaine. Again, I don't really think Blaine or Rapidash will be, that good. I think the other old Rapidashes we have are in fact better than this, but there you go. There's a new Flareon in town, and as we know, Flame Patch, Rainbow Cave shenanigans will be quite interesting. We have several good Flareon cards. I think this is the third non-EX Flareon, and we also have Flareon EX, but either way, this attack here does Bursting Tail for 2 fire, 70 damage. Discard a fire energy from this Pokemon. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. So a couple of cards doing burn here. I don't know if we really have like any burn additional damage or anything like that, but this card to me seems okay. I don't think it's that crazy. We do have a new Moltres with the throwback art, which we love to see. And this does Sky Attack for 4 energy. In fact, it's actually 1 fire, 3 colorless. 150, flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing. So one of the things that we're seeing with fire type archetypes is that they're really heavy on the coin flip. So they gave us Victini with Victory Star ability to reflip on coin flips for fire type Pokemon attacks. And a lot of fire Pokemon are now coin flip based. That seems to sort of be the direction that they're going with fire type Pokemon. Coin flip Pokemon are typically not that good, to be honest, but Victini is sort of its own case. And in fact, you will see more of this as this set goes along. There's this Moltres. I don't really love it too much personally. But yes, guys, we have Cyndaquil, Quilava, and Typhlosion. So here we go. Typhlosion EX is here. Now, Cyndaquil is a 60 HP basic, 1 fire energy singe. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. Really not terrible. It evolves into Quilava, which does 30 and burn for 2 fire energies, 80 HP. And here is Typhlosion EX. We have Typhlosion EX. 180 HP, stage 2. So this means that we can use Wally, okay? So remember, we have Flame Patch, Rainbow Cave, and now we have a colorless energy in this stage 2 Pokemon's attack cost, allowing us to use Wally to really kind of turbo Typhlosion. It's quite interesting. I think this has a lot of potential. We've yet to get a Fire-type Stadium card. Thank God, because Fire-type Pokemon with a really strong Stadium would be incredible. Rainbow Cave kind of is that Stadium. In fact, it does synergize with Flame Patch, but either way, I don't want to lose the plot here. The attack for 3 energies, 2 fire and a colorless, Destructive Inferno. 110 damage. Flip a coin until you get tails. Okay. For each heads, discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. And again, that is 110 damage. Okay. All right. All right, hold up. So you flip a coin until you get tails. So that could be 0. Because you could just immediately flip tails, or it could be like 3 or 4. And then in that case, you're discarding all energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Kind of crazy. Kind of strong, I'm not going to lie, especially since we just slapped Victini with Victory Star on our bench, and you get 2 chances to flip those coins, which, you know, is inherently toxic. So Typhlosion, not dealing incredible damage. We're not really one-hit KOing anything relevant in the game, but this is something that could be very, very annoying to deal with. Again, something that could come out very early. You got to keep in mind Rainbow Cave, Flame Patch, Rare Candy, you know, Wally. Lots of turbo potential to this Typhlosion, and there's other Fire-type Pokemon that will be able to utilize the Flame Patch, Rainbow Cave, Wally combo as well. But it's going to definitely be kind of a combo high roll deck, but going to be very annoying to basically lock your opponent in the active spot without them really being able to attach energies ever. These types of strategies are in fact pretty strong. They have been strong in the past. The energy discard mechanics, that is. It really just kind of comes down to the other ancillary factors about the deck list, how consistent it is, how fast-paced it is, how much damage is the deck dealing. Like if you remember Beedrill EX from the past, kind of had a similar issue where it was certainly not terrible, but it just didn't really deal enough damage. I think Typhlosion has some potential here. I think this is going to be one of those really annoying decks. Again, we do have, I believe it's Team Rocket Grunt to discard more additional energies. It's interesting. This is a very interesting Pokemon, one that I think will be quite annoying to play against, and might see some play. I'm going to say this is going to be like, again, kind of fringe meta. I'm going to actually put this right in kind of the same tier maybe as like a Alolan Ninetales. That's kind of how I'm feeling. I know it's a very different Pokemon than Alolan Ninetales, but in terms of its meta viability, kind of that like tier 2, you know, tier 2.5 type of card. I could be wrong about that. The new Rainbow Cave Flame Patch stuff with Wally might just make this super explosive and just absolutely destructive, no pun intended. I like it. I hate it, but I love it. You know what I mean? That's how I'm feeling about Typhlosion. Anyway, we are getting a Houndour and a Houndoom, and as we, as you might know, the new Mega promo coming is Houndoom, Mega Houndoom EX, which is actually quite a strong card. Houndour, right here, Sharp Claws, 10 damage, flip a coin if heads, so more coin flips like you see here. Does 20 more damage. So there you go. And it evolves here into the non-EX Houndoom, which has 100 HP, and then Crunch, flip a coin. If heads, again, more coin flips. That's what the fire type is now. Discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. So it's actually very similar to both It's similar to Typhlosion, right? So it's interesting. Victini's really going to be kind of a cornerstone in a lot of these fire type decks. We're also getting a new Heatmore, 50 damage for 2 energies. But again, you know, something like this Heatmore could be very, very good. I don't want to understate this, right? Again, like everyone's talking about the Flame Patch, Rainbow Cave type stuff. So it's like, why not just go turn 1 to 50, right? Like that's kind of strong. You know what I mean? Am I wrong? Like, I mean, if you're going to be playing the Flame Patch Rainbow Cave combo, yes, you might not really want to use Flame Patch on this Pokemon, but it does have 90 HP and you can immediately start hitting for 50. So, you know, don't kind of sleep on it. I don't know if it's better to just play like than playing Castform, to be fair, because then, you know, you don't need to use Flame Patch to get it attacked. And Castform can effectively hit for 50 anyway, but it's not terrible. Psyduck with Migraine. We have seen this card already. Flip a coin if heads. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. If tails, this Pokemon is confused. Pretty funny. It evolves into this Golduck, which does 80 for 3. So another, you know, kind of throwaway card. We are getting a new Staryu and Starmie. Staryu has 50 HP. So we are going to be able to use Wallace on this, which is pretty cool. 20 damage for 1 energy Swift. This Pokemon's damage isn't affected by weakness or by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So you're going to be able to hit through like Heavy Helmet and stuff with Staryu. And it evolves into Starmie, which does also Swift for 2 energies, 60, and isn't affected by weakness or any effects. So, I mean, you know, you can Wallace onto this thing. It's not terrible. I don't know. Again, like these cards are like cards that are totally fine, but are they ever really going to be at the forefront of the metagame? You know, probably not. However, we're going to talk about the next new mega coming, and that is Sharpedo. All right. They went a little hard on Sharpedo, and you'll notice there is a Wailord EX as well. We'll get to it. The water type's kind of popping off in this set. Carvanha, yet another 50 HP water type basic Pokemon that evolves into a stage 1 mega. So yes, we can Wallace our Carvanhas, which is toxic, okay? So here's the thing here. As we all know, Wallace was a card that you paired with Milotic EX to evolve it on turn 1 and immediately get that ability off to generate additional water energies. So just keep that in mind, because the same thing is going on right here. The Carvanha is a 50 HP water type basic, so you can, of course, play Lissy in your deck if you want to, but you can use Wallace on the same turn that you play this and evolve it into its evolved form Sharpedo. However, this does 30 for 1, which is not bad. Let's take a look here at Mega Sharpedo, guys. Okay, all right. We're in it now. We're getting into it. We're already 21 minutes into this video, which is hilarious. Mega Sharpedo, 190 HP on a Mega, Stage 1, Water type. Free retreat, by the way. Free retreat cost on this thing, and it also has a single energy attack cost. So I hope you guys enjoy turn 1 Sharpedo to the face, because that's what's coming. You're gonna get Wallace combo turn 1, and you're gonna get smacked by Turbo Shark, which does 70 damage, by the way, 70 damage. And then you get to take a water energy from your energy zone and attach it to one of your benched water Pokemon. So Sharpedo is not only a very aggressive in-your-face attacker, it's also water energy ramp. That's right. So it's doing multiple things at once. Now, this is really strong. I need to just emphasize, this is a really strong card, especially with Wallace. You know, you have Elegant Cape, so you can bring this bad boy right up to 220 HP. So it's going to have some great survivability. There is a new water type stadium card, which we will have to talk about, and we will. However, keep in mind that there is probably going to be some type of a target that you play with Mega Sharpedo here to pile it up with energies. Maybe that is Wailord EX, and we'll take a look at it. But these types of cards, to me, are typically not that good. And by that, I mean, you know, Megas that are supposed to come into the active and then ramp energy and then, I guess, retreat out of the active. Now, Sharpedo is incredibly fast-paced, and we do have access to Wallace. It also can go to 220 HP. It also has free retreat, and it also does 70 damage, so there's a lot going for it here. But keep in mind, whenever you bring a Mega into the active and maybe you attack a couple of times and then you try to retreat, you're kind of opening yourself up for some Cyrus shenanigans. This is something that can be sort of a lose condition in certain games. Now, I'm not saying it's going to mean Mega Sharpedo isn't meta viable, because this card has everything going for it other than that. And I'm kind of terrified. I really am. I don't really want to get hit for 70 on turn 1 by a Mega Pokemon with 190 HP and then have them ramp water energy. I don't want that. That doesn't sound good to me. That sounds like I'm going to be quite mad. This is something that might be really fun to play. And again, that turn 1 Wallace combo is going to go absolutely nuts. It's going to go insane. I don't think we have like a a Pokemon, I forget what it's called. But we don't have an item card that searches for supporter cards, or do we? Because if we do, then like really fishing, quote unquote, you know, no pun intended, fishing for the Wallace combo turn 1 could be very aggressive. But again, you know, turboing the water energy is strong, but what are we going to move this energy to? I mean, Mega Sharpedo is really good. Maybe that fast-paced aggression will win you games, but you're probably going to want to set something up on the back end to finish games. And that could possibly be our guy here, Wailord EX. So anyway, here's Wailmer. This is not a good card at all. And keep in mind, this Wailmer has a retreat cost of 3 and an attack cost of 3. So once this thing's in the active, you know, it's in there. It's not going to be that easy to like get it out of the active. In fact, I don't really know if we can. I'd have to figure that out. You can't use like Giant Balloon on this thing, right? Even if you evolve it. I don't know. I mean, I guess we do have Inflatable Boat, but that reduces your retreat cost by 1. So I don't know if we're really able to get Wailord out of the active there very effectively. So that to me is like kind of an inherent downside. However, it does evolve into Wailord EX. Okay. Here we are. Wailord EX is a 2-prize Pokemon. I repeat, it's a 2-prize Pokemon. That's a stage 1 with 250 HP. That's right, 250 on a 2-prize Pokemon. So, you know, good luck getting through double Wailord EXs. That sounds like a great time to me. Its attack for 4 water energy, also has a retreat cost of 4, does 100 damage. So again, a very respectable amount of damage here. Not one at killing really much though. And it recovers from all special conditions. Now, this is a really funny effect to me because if you are paralyzed or if you are asleep, you're not able to get the attack off anyway, right? So it's sort of an interesting thing. The effect of this attack is kind of a meme. Like it's like, okay, cool. Maybe if we're burned or poisoned, sure, we can wipe those status conditions. But if you're asleep or paralyzed, you know, you're not going to get the attack off to wipe the special condition, right? So it is quite ironic in that sense. But 250 HP, guys. You can Elegant Cape. You can go to 280. You can play Irida. You can play you can play Lucky Ice Pops. When you have 280 HP, like any healing you get is going to just feel pretty insane. Probably just PCLs. This to me is one of the more ridiculous cards ever. Now, Wailord cards are always like this. They're always, you know, an insane amount of HP. But the way Pokemon Pocket works, you know, with things like Misty in the game, with things like Mantike in the game, with, of course, all of the different things that we have available to us, I mean, this is going to be such an annoying Pokemon to deal with. This thing has so much HP. Now, I am also telling you here, we do have Heavy Helmet. So 250 HP, you can Heavy Helmet, which means you're taking 20 less damage from attacks every turn. And keep in mind, there is a new Water Stadium card, which you will want to pair with this. So this new sort of water archetype, maybe it is Sharpedo Wailord. I don't know. I really don't. The one thing I'm really curious about is like, if we do like just lead off with Wailord, what are we doing here? Do we have, I think we have a supporter card that can scoop up water Pokemon. Is it like fish? Is it Fishing Lady? Hold on. Let me look this up. If I look up fishing, will this work? Searching. We have Fishing Net and we have Fisher. Is that it? Is it called like Parasol Lady? What does Fisher do? Flip 3 coins for each heads. A water Pokemon is chosen at random from your discard pile and put into your hand. Okay, we don't really want that. I don't know if we have water type scoop up. There might be something in the game. Is it Parasol Lady? I totally forget. I really am curious about this because I don't really play this type of... What is Parasol Lady? Put one of your water Pokemon in play, except any Pokemon EX in your hand. Okay, so I mean, Parasol Lady does work to allow you to kind of scoop up, not Wailord, but Wailmer. So you don't have to evolve it, right? You can just sort of scoop up the Wailmer. So, I mean, there you go. Maybe we play like double Wailmer, double Carvana, double Sharpedo, double Wailord, and you play double Wallace, and you play double Parasol Lady, and you just do it. You just kind of go all in because, you know, aggro Sharpedo into a Wailord on the back end is going to be one of the more fundamentally annoying things like we've ever seen. So that's a very funny, scary, interesting archetype. All of this stuff has a ton of potential. Wailord to me seems like a little bit of like a stretch. That's like, do we really need to do that? Sharpedo in my mind though is crazy. This card is absurd. So have fun dealing with Mega Sharpedo turn 1 with Wallace. It's going to be great. You're going to have a blast. Anyway, here is Sveal. With Rollout, does 30 damage. That's pretty cool. Evolves into Celio, which does 50 for 3. And if your opponent's active Pokemon is a fighting Pokemon, does 70 more. So that's random. And then it evolves into Walrein, which is a holo here. I believe this is straight out of like a Gen 3 like EX series set or whatever. This art. I love it though. Blizz Lock, 4 energy, 110 damage. Your opponent cannot use any supporter cards from their hand during their next turn. So that sounds great. Again, I mean, it's a 160, 4 energy, so it's going to be kind of tough to get going, but kind of crazy. And then here is Kyogre. So as we know, Mega Rayquaza is the front runner. It's the pack art for the set. But what about Kyogre? What about Groudon? A lot of people speculated, along with Deoxys, like if those cards would be coming in this set or maybe focused in a future mini set. We did get a non-EX version of Kyogre and Groudon. Spoiler, I guess, but yeah, I mean, maybe the EXs or something come in a future set. But anyway, basic 120 HP, Tidal Blast. Maybe something we Sharpedo to. Maybe we Sharpedo Turbo to a Kyogre. Tidal Blast, 4 water energy. Discard 3 water energy from this Pokemon, and it does 50 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. So really interesting spread attack here from Kyogre. That's kind of crazy. And we are getting Oshawott. Shout out to Oshawott, Gen 5 GOAT, one of the greatest Pokemon of all time. Water Gun, 20 damage. It evolves into Duat, which does 20 for 1. And then if flip a coin of heads, does 30 more, which is pretty cool. And then it evolves into Samurott. Now, Samurott is, again, what an incredible Pokemon Samurott is. Just so cool. 150 HP, stage 2. Has the ability Stance. Once during your turn, when you play this Pokemon, from your hand to evolve your Pokemon, to evolve one of your Pokemon, rather. When you evolve this Pokemon, is what this means. You may prevent all damage from and effects of attacks from your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon until the end of your opponent's next turn. Okay, so you get basically 1 turn of invulnerability when you evolve into Samurott, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's not bad at all. For 2 water energy, Pike, 60 damage, and then it also does 20 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So the concept here with Samurott really isn't that bad. You get basically 2 guaranteed attacks off, but again, you know, maybe with Giant Cape or something, like, I don't know, you can kind of extend your HP. You're probably not going to 1-hit KO'd anyway, so, you know, each Samurott should kind of give you like 2 to 3 attacks, which, you know, 60 plus 20 to the bench isn't terrible. There's some potential here with Samurott. This is certainly not a bad card. 2 energy means that there is potential to rare candy combo to it. Maybe you can turbo on your first turn, generate some additional water energies. You go rare, turn 2 rare candy. Maybe you Sharpedo to it. There's a million different ways that we can get water energy on our Pokemon these days. Milotic is an example as well. So this is definitely not a terrible card. I don't know if it will see play. I don't know. It's kind of like Mimikyu, but not. It's interesting. It's certainly interesting. I don't know though. You know, the attack might not be strong enough, but definitely very cool. Alomomola, HP 100, basic water, basic water Pokemon, 2 water energy, Mineral Pump. 40 damage, heal 10 from each of your benched Pokemon. Cool. Nice. We are getting a new Dewpider and then also a new Araquanid. So this will work with Lana. This one might be better than the other Araquanid. I'm not sure. 100 HP, 60 damage for 2 during your opponent's next turn. The defending Pokemon cannot retreat, which is pretty interesting, right? So it kind of does have that effect that works well with Lana. Bruxish, 80 HP, 30 damage. So, I mean, do we have this card? We might literally have this card. I don't know if water... It's so hard to know because there's these like really core archetypes of Pokemon in the game, like Pokemon that just like from 1 energy to 30 to a bench Pokemon or 30 damage to the active for 1, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe we do have this card, but maybe this is like a flat upgrade. It does have a retreat cost of 1 and 80 HP. So like in certain water type decks, like it's sometimes just worth it to play these types of cards, right? Like Lucario does, like Fire, you know, like Blaziken plays these types of cards. So like, I don't know if we have a better like water leadoff Pokemon, and I don't know if a card like this is better than Furfrou, but we do have a water type. So there we go. Let's get into the lightning Pokemon. Jeez Louise, we got to go way quicker. We're already 30 minutes into this video, guys. We need to go turbo mode here because we've made it through almost no Pokemon whatsoever. I'm just not realizing this. This cannot be like a 2-hour long video. All right. Okay. Anyway. Let's just talk about, what are we going to do? Let's just talk about the relevant stuff. How about that? Let's just talk about the stuff that I think is going to be good because my gosh, I'm sorry. Anyway, Raichu, new Evo Shock Raichu. This card's crazy. This card is crazy. Let's talk about it. Stage 1, 100 HP. Evo Shock. Once during your turn, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, meaning your Pikachu, you may flip a coin, and if heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is paralyzed, guys. This is bench paralysis. It's on a coin flip, but it is bench paralysis. Now, keep in mind, you know, paralyzing your opponent's Pokemon is different than sleep. It's a guaranteed stun for the turn unless they have status healing. That's kind of nuts. I mean, it's a stage 1 Pokemon. Like, you know, I don't know. This card to me is crazy. I just don't know if it'll actually even see that much play because, again, like there is a lot of status protection in the game. But being able to just play these Pokemon in your deck and effectively sometimes stun lock your opponent from the bench is effectively insane. You can play Will. You can just play Will and then evolve Raichu, and you get a guaranteed paralysis. So that's terrifying. I am afraid of this. This to me sounds pretty toxic. Status conditions are rampant right now in Pokemon Pocket. It's all coin flips. It's all status conditions. Pokemon Pocket is absolutely insane. But yeah, this card has a ton of potential. I'm a little bit afraid of it. New Luxray with Revenge Blast does 80 damage, 50 more for each point your opponent has gotten. So at the end of the game, you're hitting for 180 for 3. Not terrible. I'll tell you that for free. Pachirisu, 70 HP, Crackling Snap, 30. Discard the top card of your deck, and if it's an item card, it does 20 more damage. So, I mean, you know, it's not terrible. It's really not that bad. You are discarding the item card though, so I don't know if you really want to play it. But we're playing Rotom, which again is more like it's these cards are kind of like an item card archetype. It's strange. This is Rotom, 120 HP basic lightning type Pokemon. They love to give us these basic EX 120 HP lightning Pokemon. We have a bunch of them. Rotom EX here, 2 lightning, junk, spark, 30. This attack does 10 more damage for each item in your discard pile. So there we go. Some synergy between Rotom and Pachirisu. Very aggressive. It does 10 more for each item card in your discard pile. So that's interesting. How are we really going to get that many items? I guess you can actually. Now that I say that, you can play, what you can play, it's not Hiking Trail, but what's the other one called? There's the card that came out with Hiking Trail. There's ways to absolutely blitz through your deck with item cards, and there might be a new item card that does that as well. We'll see in a little bit, but the item discard stuff between Rotom and Pachirisu actually does have a lot of potential, and I'm actually quite afraid of it. We're going to have to wait and see how strong that is. We'll get to the trainer cards later on. New Electros, 50 damage for 2 lightning, does 20 more for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. All right. I mean, that's pretty interesting. I mean, sometimes strong. I don't know though. New Thundurus, basic 100 HP, does 100 damage, discard a lightning from this Pokemon when lightning to colorless Disaster Volt. Yeah, probably not. That's my opinion. We do have a new Heliolisk. This is crazy, guys. Hold on. All right, hold up a minute. Do you guys remember Clement's Backpack? Okay. If you don't remember, I think Clement's Backpack does plus 20 damage to your opponent's Pokemon. Not active, but 20 Pokemon, and it's an item card. No, is it a tool card? It might be a tool card or an item. Anyway, Heliolisk, stage 1, single lightning energy in the attack cost, 40 damage to the active, 10 as well to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Now, again, Clement's Backpack will buff this attack to all of your opponent's Pokemon, and it's by 20. So if you Clement's Backpack and then hit on turn 2 with Heliolisk, that's going to be 60 to the active and 30 to all benched Pokemon for 1 lightning energy. Kind of crazy. This might be like kind of the new premier spread deck strategy. Don't sleep on this. Hold on. I got to pull this up. Clement's Backpack. Where is it? Clement's Backpack. This is an item card, not a tool card. 20 damage right here. So attacks used by your Magneton or Heliolisk could do 20 damage to your opponent's Pokemon, not active, just opponent's Pokemon. So yes, that is going to boost the damage of benched Pokemon. So we have a new Heliolisk kind of turbo lightning spread archetype, which is honestly quite strong. That's terrifying. That's going to be really interesting to play against. Kilowattrel, we're going to skip over that. Let's get into Clefairy. 3 colorless energy. Flip a coin of heads. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon attacks and use it. Opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. Probably not. But that can be strong. We have a new Drowsy, new Hypno. Not interesting. I'm not going to talk about that. We have a new baby Pokemon. That's right. Mime Jr. Okay, new babies. Mime Jr. Mimey Shuffle. All right. Shuffle your hand into your deck and draw a card for each card in your opponent's hand. Wow. Okay. That's actually pretty good. So this is going to be quite strong on, like in those turns where you go first and you basically are able to play a bunch of cards out of your hand, right? So let's just say it's your first turn, you're going first. Mime Jr. is in the active. You start with like 5 cards in your hand, maybe play a research, maybe play a couple of Pokeballs, whatever it might be. I don't know, a couple of item cards, whatever. All right. You end your turn and you're like, okay, cool. Like I went from, I drew a couple of cards and now I only have like 2 or 3 cards in my hand. My opponent has 5. And then you can just end your turn and then basically shuffle your hand into your deck and then maybe just go +3. So the card advantage potential for Mime Jr. is quite high. And it's really interesting. I mean, in terms of just like real, like mill through your deck, just draw power, like Mime Jr. might be kind of your best leadoff option, which is kind of interesting. The art on this card is crazy, by the way. Look at his face. This is a good card. I don't know if every deck will play this, but maybe, it's one of those types of things. I like this. This is strong. A lot of cards we talked about are strong, by the way. New Mr. Mime, Synchro Dance, 40 damage, and if your opponent's active Pokemon have the same amount of energy attached, it does 40 more. All right. Cool. We are getting a new Mewtwo card, which is crazy. And it has the Psychic attack, 3 Psychic Energy, basic 120 HP, 10 damage, does 40 more for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay. I mean, it's not, it's not terrible, I guess. We are getting a new Ralts, because we are getting a new Gallade, Mega Gallade, right, which we talked about. Maybe that's a spoiler, but there's a Mega Gallade. We talked about it. It was already teased in the trailer. So we're getting a new Ralts and a new Kirlia. This Ralts here for 1 colorless lead. Put a random supporter card from your deck into your hand. So that's really strong, right? I mean, Ralts can kind of get you that Wally so that you can go turn 2 Rare Candy Wally, turn 2 attack with Gallade. I actually like that. So Ralts kind of comboing pretty well with the new Gallade and stuff. This Kirlia does 2, flip 2 coins, 20 for each heads, 1 colorless. So this is kind of probably your best Kirlia in fighting type Gallade decks, which is interesting. New Chimecho, extra sensory. This does not evolve. This is a basic Pokemon, so it doesn't evolve from Chingling. That's not, baby Pokemon are separate in Pokemon Pocket. 2 Psychic Energy, 40. If you have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent, do 40 more damage. We've seen stuff like that before. Another new baby, and it's Why Not? Why Not? Another new Psychic baby Pokemon. Stompy Jammer. Stompy Jammer, 10 damage during your opponent's next turn. Attacks used by the defending Pokemon cost 1 more colorless energy. Wow, okay. So this is like Gumi's ability, but in the effect of a baby Pokemon attack. So again, going first, Mime Jr. and Why Not are going to be really strong. These are really strong going first baby Pokemon. I guess all baby Pokemon are strong going first, but these are like really upside going first baby Pokemon, because like if you can stop your opponent's baby Pokemon from attacking, or you can't, I guess they would just attach an energy. So I guess it's not as good, but you could force like, Sleep Altaria or whatever to have to attach an energy to Igglybuff to attack. Maybe that's good, maybe not. It's really not terrible. Stompy Jammer's, it's going to slow the game down. It's going to kind of allow you to kind of catch back up, especially if you go first and you're behind on energy, right? So that's kind of the big upside. Effectively, though, kind of doing the same thing that like Mantike and Pichu do in terms of getting you back on the energy curve, but keep in mind, it does deal 10 damage. I don't know. I don't know if I like Why Not as much as Mime Jr., but it is interesting for sure. New Swoobat, 40 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused for 1. Okay, that's fun. We have a new Hoopa, 70 HP basic, 1 colorless energy. So we can play this in any deck or tree cost of 1. 20 damage. Before doing damage, shuffle all Pokemon tool cards from each of your opponent's Pokemon into their deck. Okay, so it's kind of a tech card. You can remove tool cards, or not remove them, but shuffle them back into the deck, which is pretty cool. Only 20 damage. That's an interesting card. New Oricorio. This is the ghost type Oricorio, I believe. 80 HP, Psychic Basic, 1 Psychic Energy, Supernatural Feather, 50 damage for 1. Okay, that's strong. Discard a card from your hand, and if you can't, this attack doesn't do anything. Okay, wow. All right, so this is a really strong card, actually. So yes, this seems like a negative condition, but keep in mind there's a lot of like things in the game that require you to discard cards, right? Think about, the new Hisuian Zoroark. Think about Houndoom. Like those, that's what this card is for, right? It's for like Houndoom, or not Houndoom. What's it called? Houndstone. It's Houndstone, not Houndoom. This is like the new card. Like, and so it's like basically Gourgeist, but it's a basic that hits for 50. This card's crazy. Okay, so those psychic type / like card discard, archetypes are actually a lot stronger. I guess only the psychic energy ones, because this card is crazy, guys. This is a really strong card. 1 energy, 50. I'm playing this in any psychic deck. I don't even care. I'm just hitting for 50 turn 1. That's absolutely kind of ridiculous. This is a really big deal for those particular decks. I mean, 50 for 1 with effectively no drawback. Sometimes an upside, right? Considering the deck you're playing is really strong. That's actually going to be a really big deal. So shout out to that Oricorio card, man. Sure. Why not? Wow. Hariyama, 120 HP fighting. Pivot throw 120 during your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon takes 50 more damage from attacks. Okay. That's cool. We do have a new Armaldo. So this is the other fossil Pokemon, stage 2, fighting type, 150 HP. 1 fighting, 2 colorless, so you can't play Wally on this thing, theoretically. Discard all energy from this Pokemon. Choose a spot from among your opponent's active spot and the bench. And at the end of your opponent's next turn, knock out the Pokemon the spot that you chose. All right. So it's like Meowscarada, but like all in, he's like Chad Meowscarada. I mean, yeah, no, I don't think so. I think this could be strong, but would you rather play Armaldo, right? Like, or would you rather just go 1 energy, 130 with Rampardos, right? Like, there's definitely, there's a little bit of kind of, it's not a bad card, but like I would rather just play Rampardos personally. But I mean, that's interesting. Shout out to our Armaldo. When you guys played Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire back in the day, did you choose Armaldo or did you choose Credilli? I was a Credilli guy. But anyway, Groudon, 130 HP fighting basic, Earthquake, 100, also does 10 to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So similar to Kyogre, however it's fighting. So how are we going to get the energies onto it? Am I right? Here's Mega Gallade. We've already talked about this, but this is a strong card. It's going to hit for 150 if you play a supporter for the turn, but it has 2 colorless energy in the attack cost, so you're able to play a kind of turbo high roll Mega Gallade, and this is going to be one of the premier high roll decks in the metagame. Like, it's going to kind of feel like Hydreigon, where you're like, all right, like, do I love getting hit for 150 on my second turn? Like, I don't think that seems fair, but Mega Gallade doesn't care, and he's going to do that. He's going to do that sometimes, and, you know, there's a lot of fighting damage buff in the game. It's going to be a very aggressive Pokemon, kind of the new fighting high roll, and I think this card has a ton of potential. We've already talked about it a bit, though. New Stage 1 Excadrill, which does the old, you know, single energy 50 damage attack, so, you know, there you go. And there's also a new Conkeldurr. Oh, I don't know. 100 damage, discard a stadium and play for 3 fighting. My Gen 5 GOAT, they did him dirty. Next up is Minior, which is a fighting basic for 1 colorless energy in the attack cost, 70 HP. Cosmic Tackle, 10 damage, and if your opponent's active Pokemon has an ability, it does 40 more damage. So you're going to want to kill Oricorio for a colorless energy. So that's cool. I mean, I guess and it's colorless. So I mean, you can just play Minior. If you're a deck that loses to Oricorio, here's your answer. There you go. Just play 1 Minior. This actually is relevant. This is pretty relevant to me because now we have a single colorless energy basic that can one kill Oricorio. Have we had that in the game before? I don't think we've had a colorless one that does that. So there you go. Oricorio might be gone, actually. Think about all of the decks where you're like, loses to Oricorio. Not anymore, guys. I'm playing 1 Minior and I'm going hard. He's getting in there. Oricorio with Giant Cave, I get it. But you know what? Shout out to Minior. I love this, actually. It's really cool that they gave us this. That's a relevant card. That is a relevant card. New Muck, Dark-type Muck. Ambush, 30 damage. Flip a coin if heads, does 30 more damage. Okay. So 60 for 1 on a coin flip is whatever. All right. Poochyena. Team Hunt. Draw a card for each Poochyena you have in play. So maybe if you get double Poochyena turn 1, you draw 2 cards. It's not terrible. It evolves into Mightyena, which is, again, 1 energy, 50 damage. How many of these cards will they give us? You know, is there something else that they could give us at some point? Who knows? Anyway, we also have a new Galarian Obstagoon, which this art is directly from, like, I think it's from Sword and Shield base set or maybe like the second set. I don't know, but I remember this card. Base control, 1 dark, 2 colorless, so you can Wally to it. I'm going to say that for every stage 2 Pokemon with colorless energy in the attack cost. This attack does 80 damage to 1 of your opponent's Pokemon. Okay, so 8. It's like Decidueye, but it's 3 energies instead of 2, so it's kind of less good, but not terrible. Also, we do have we have Pierre. So, you can play Pierre's, which is kind of cool. So you can kind of, I think Pierre's discards energy from your opponent's active, right? So like, you can kind of lock your opponent in the active with a Pokemon and then target the bench. It's actually kind of crazy. That'll be a pretty fun archetype. Shout out to Galarian Obstagoon. I like that. You know what I do. There's also a new dark type tool card, which is pretty good. We'll talk about it. Swalot, 120, 2 energy here. Swallow up 30. If your opponent's active Pokemon is less remaining HP than this, it does 80 more damage. Well, we only have 120. So I guess if they have less than 120, you can hit for 90. But okay. I mean, I don't think that's not. Moving on. Absol, 70 HP basic. We've already talked about this. This does 20. And if this has a tool attached, it does 50. So this is actually a pretty strong dark type leadoff Pokemon. I do like this. I think this is going to be a very, very aggressive Pokemon in dark type decks. This Absol probably will see a lot of play. And yet again, there is a new dark specific tool card that is coming out. New Mandibuzz, Bone Rush. The other old Mandibuzz is actually quite good. Flip a coin until you get Tailsless attack to 60 damage for each heads. I mean, it's strong, but these types of cards never really see play in the metagame, unfortunately. And the other Mandibuzz is like quite good. Volby here is run around so you can switch it with one of your bench Pokemon. But let's talk about Hoopa EX, guys. My word, what is this? Hoopa EX is a crazy card. This thing came out of left field and I was shook. Anyway, this is Unbound Hoopa. This guy is a beast. Basic Dark, 150 HP EX worth 2 prizes. It's got 2 attacks here. Shadow Bullet for 1 dark energy, again on a basic Pokemon. 30 damage to the active and 22 a bench Pokemon. So again, sure. Again, that might not seem that strong, guys, but keep in mind, you got 150 HP. You have 150, and immediately you can just start hitting 30 to the active, 20 to the bench. Like, this is the best dark leadoff Pokemon you're ever going to play. I don't even care who you are. I think this might be like one of the best cards in the game. If you do get 3 energies on this thing, it does 100 damage and then 20 to itself. And the reason why that attack seems like it sucks is because it does, because the first attack is crazy. Absolutely insane. Do you guys remember when Palkia EX came out and it just did 30 to the active, and like that was like quite good, in fact? Now you're doing 30 and 20. 30 and 20 on 150 HP dark type basic. This thing's nuts. I don't love that. You could also play Darkrai. So you could just play Turbo Hoopa. Turn 1, you can do 30 to the active, 20 to the bench, and then you put Darkrai in the bench, you start committing energy to Darkrai, and then all of a sudden it's 50 to the active, 20 to the bench. It's kind of getting a little bit out of control here. I really actually like Hoopa EX. This card is nuts. This card is super good. I might be wrong here, but just like, I mean, in any dark deck, why would you not play Hoopa? Like, opening the game with this thing in the active is going to feel insane. It's got 150 HP. Why does it have 150? You know, you can just giant cape this thing and then you don't get KO'd by like even a Sceptile. Like, it's insane. But anyway, there you go. Shout out to Hoopa EX. Incredible card. That's all. The only reason this card is good is because of Shadow Bullet. Like, this thing's going to be right in your face and you're not going to love it. It's just going to be putting pressure on you. It's going to be annoying to KO it. It's going to buy you a bunch of time to set up something in the back end. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but Hoopa EX is a very strong card. We have Skarmory with Drill Peck, 2 colorless. That's a bad card. Mawile for a steel and a colorless, 40 damage. Flip a coin of heads, does 20 more. Not great. Beldum. Okay, so yes, Mega Metagross, which we have talked about, right? This card's good. You're probably going to be playing with Orthworm. You're going to pile it up with Metal Energies, and it does infinite damage. Also, 3 energy, Heavy Helmet. You can use Lily. It's a strong card. Very strong card. However, this is the Beldum, because we were curious, and this Beldum does have an ability. It's called Conductive Body. If you have another Beldum in play, its retreat cost is 2 less. Now, this is a 60 HP basic. It's not a 50 HP basic, so we can't use Lycia shenanigans to, populate our bench full of Beldum. However, this kind of fixes the retreat issue. So now you just have free retreat on a Beldum if you can get more than 1 down, which is actually a pretty big deal considering that, you don't want your Beldum in the active. You want that Orthworm or something in the active so that you can, of course, start piling energies onto it, onto the Metagross and getting it set up. So that's interesting. I mean, that's a good ability. Have we seen this before? We might have, actually. Not great, not terrible. Especially, yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. You could just play Leaf in the deck, though. So maybe it's still worth it to play Leaf. But anyway, here is the non-EX Metagross, which is quite similar. 1 steel, 2 colorless, 50 damage, 4 coin flips, 50 for each head, which is kind of nuts, actually. So, I mean, it's not terrible. You're probably going to KO an Oricorio with it, so that's the upside. 160 HP is nothing to slouch about. And then again, Mega Metagross here, 230, 3 colorless energy, but 100 does 10 more for each steel energy. So if you get 3 steel on this, it's 130. But maybe by the time you get into Metagross, you've already gotten, I don't know, like 5 or 6 steel energy on this thing. It's going to kind of get out of control pretty quickly. So shout out to Mega Metagross. I don't know if it'll be that good, like in terms of the other stuff that we're seeing today, but it's certainly not terrible. I mean, this could see play. Again, you do have Metal Core Barrier. Steel type does have other support, so we're going to have to just wait and see. Here is the Excavalier, which does 70 for 2. Which isn't very good. This Genesect does also 70 for 2, but it's a basic Pokemon. And then you can attack during your next turn. So again, I don't know why this card exists. It's not a good card, unfortunately. We also have Duraludon, but we have Archaludon, which is a crazy card. 140 HP, stage 1 steel-type Pokemon for 2 steel and 2 colorless. Raging Blade, 80 damage, and if it has any damage on it, does 80 more. So 4 energy, 160 if it's taking damage. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be tough to get this thing set up, relatively speaking. I don't know if I love Archaludon, but it is quite strong. We have a new Revavroom with dual customization. This Pokemon may have up to 2 tool cards attached to it. And it does over-acceleration for, again, 2 steel and 2 colorless. 70 damage during this next turn. This Pokemon's next turn, it does 70 more, which is 140. Now, I forget. So during the next turn, this Pokemon's over-acceleration attack does 70 plus damage. Does this stack? I don't remember how the wording works. Like, does it stack like Miltank? I don't know if it does. It might infinitely stack. It's interesting because, again, I don't know how you're going to turbo enough energies onto this Revavroom. But you can put 2 tool cards onto it, which is pretty funny. You could put like, Metalcore Barrier and Steel Apron, or you could do like, Elegant Cape and Steel Apron or Metalcore Barrier. So, you can keep this thing alive pretty effectively, which is going to be kind of interesting. I don't know if it's strong enough though to kind of really utilize the double, the double tool card thing super well. But anyway, let's get into the dragons, because dragons are a really big deal in the set and we get quite a few of them. Now we do know about Dragonair with Dragon's Blessing. This combined with Rainbow Cave is the new dragon type energy support. You discard the energy from your zone and then you bring it back and attach it to your active Pokemon with Dragon's Blessing, effectively giving you 2 energies every single turn. But if you get double Dragonair on your bench, then that could be 3 energies in a single turn, which is pretty strong, especially for, decks where, you discard energy every turn, so you want to bring them back like Mega Rayquaza, or some Pokemon that don't discard energy, but it's going to be kind of annoying to set up a second one. Dragonair kind of fixes that problem. You can set up a second Pokemon immediately. So we all know about Dragon's Blessing. It's quite good. We've talked a lot about it. And here is the new Dragonite, because we got Dragonair, so you got to get Dragonite as well. Where's this art from? I forget, but it's a really cool card. This does Water, Lightning, Colorless, Hyper Beam, 110 damage. Discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. This is actually a strong card. 110 for 3, but it's pretty easy to get the 3 now, right? With Dragonair and whatnot. And 110, and you discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. 150, retreat cost of 3, so Heavy Helmet is up here as a possibility. I don't hate it. I don't know if it's better than the other Dragonites, but it's 3 energy instead of 4, which is a big deal. Here's the non-EX Rayquaza, which for a Fire, Lightning, and then 2 colorless does 140, and you discard 2 random energy from this Pokemon. It's not really that bad. Again, with Dragonairs, you can just do it every single turn on a basic, which is really, again, quite strong. I don't know if it's better than Mega Rayquaza, though, which is similar. I made an entire video twice. I made 2 videos really talking about this card, and we're going to be playtesting it a ton tonight. I think this thing has a ton of potential. Again, I really think it's more of an aggro attacker. It's 2 energy for 100 damage, but double Dragonair means you can get 3 energy on this thing every turn and just hit for 150. Just 150, 150, 150. I think this is a strong card. We'll have to see how the Dragonair Rainbow Cave stuff works. Yeah, we've already spent so much time talking about Mega Rayquaza. I don't think anything else has really been revealed that's changed my opinions on it, but, we'll have to wait and see. Next up is Noivern. That's right. Shout out to Noivern. Not a Gen 5 Pokemon, but he's still pretty cool. Draco Meteor for Psychic and Double Dark. Stage 1, only 100 HP on this thing. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon at random 3 different times, and for each time a Pokemon was chosen, do 60 damage to it. So this is basically like the spiritual successor to Genetic Apex Dragonite, which I believe did it 4 times? It was 44 times. Now this is 63 times, so it's 180 total damage. And again, you don't discard anything from it. It's only 3 energy. We do have Rainbow Cave and Dragonair, so it's actually going to be pretty easy to get this thing set up, which is pretty fun. This is going to be kind of a turbo. This deck's going to be nuts, in fact. Now it is really easy to KO Noivern at 100 HP, but it's a stage 1 Pokemon instead of a stage 2 Pokemon. It's a 3 energy attack cost instead of Dragonite's 4 energy attack cost, and we do have Dragonair and we do have Rainbow Cave. Now again, if Noivern goes down, it's actually going to be very easy to set up that second Noivern because we can actually do it in a single turn with double Dragonair, which is cool. Now, the only downside here that I do want to mention is that this Pokemon has Psychic and 2 Dark. It's not Psychic, Dark, and Colorless. It's Psychic, and you need the double Dark, which is going to make things a little bit interesting. Maybe you could play Giratina or something to generate Psychic energies, and just play maybe Dark, but it's going to be a little awkward. Even with Rainbow Cave, guaranteeing that you get Dark, Psychic, and then another Dark is going to be a little bit inconsistent, right? Because if you go Psychic, Psychic, Dark, then you just can't attack, right? So that to me is the downside here. If it was Psychic, Dark, and Colorless, it would be very much quite consistent and it would be pretty strong. But Rainbow Cave doesn't really help this that much because you still need 2 Dark and 3 energies, right? So it's gonna have its issues, but certainly a strong attack. 63 times is kind of strong. It's very strong. Here's Turtonator. Dragon-type Turtonator, basic 110 HP, fire, fighting, and color. Let's see how this is 2 and then a colorless. That's what we that's what you want most of the time, especially now with Rainbow Cave. Searing Flame, 70 damage, and Bird. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Again, you do have Dragonair, you got Rainbow Cave. 70. You can turbo this thing, right? You can. You can't Flame Patch it because it's not a fire, but you can Dragonair Rainbow Cave Turbo and hit for 70 on like your second turn, which is kind of cool. Quite interesting. Shout out to Turtonator. New Drampa for just 2 colorless energy. Power Blast, 70, and you discard a random energy from this Pokemon. This is actually better. I take it back. This is just straight up better than Turtonator. The burn is cool, but this is just 2 colorless. So this is strong. I mean, this is legitimately quite good, in fact. Now, again, you are still limited from like turn 1 shenanigans, right? Like you're never going to get the turn 1 attack off with Dragonair because you have to evolve Dragonair. But I mean, there are ways to do this. This is actually like for the new Rainbow Cave Dragonair stuff. This is a card that's going to be very consistent, very easy to kind of throw in and play in any deck. This could also be an additional option in Rayquaza to just, again, 70 damage KO and Oricorio, right? So this is kind of that non-EX dragon type card option for as like an Oricorio counter. That will be very easily. It's 2 colorless, so you can throw it in any dragon type deck. I like it. Shout out to Drampa. We have Applin, Diplin, and Hydrapple. Let's take a look at Hydrapple, I guess. This is the stage 2 dragon. Grass and Fire, 150 HP. Flip, 100 does 100 damage, by the way. Flip 2 coins. If both of them are heads, this attack does 100 more damage. Okay, so 100 for 2 is strong. So, you know, you can go Rare Candy, turn 2, hit for 100. And 100 is the minimum. So even if you don't flip any heads, it's 100 damage, which isn't terrible. You got to flip 2 heads. So you got a 25% chance effectively. That's a 50-50 if you do play Will to hit for 200. And now 200 is a good number. You are KOing a lot of Pokemon, a considerable amount of Mega Pokemon. I don't know. How do I feel about this? I'm definitely mixed on the old Hydrapple guy here. It does have a middle evolution, which is Diplin, which does 60, flip 2 coins, 60 for each heads. I don't love that one either. What does Applin do? 40 for 2. Okay, they all have 2. I don't know. I mean, this card is strong, but double coin flips, needing both heads is like a little bit like, yeah, all right. You know what I mean? Like, do you just want to hit for 100 every turn? Like, just play Hydreigon. It's probably just better. Anyway, basic dragon, yet again, it's Silazar. So here we go with Grass, Dark, and then Grass and Dark. These combos are nuts. Like, I don't know. Anyway, Acceleration Drive, 70, flip a coin of heads during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon. Okay. You know, I mean, listen, you know, I think you can play Will, can't you? And then just be immune. I don't know. This is an interesting card. These cards typically don't see that much play. We're going to have to just wait and see. Now, next up is Eradicate with an ability. We're going on an hour now. This is a long video, and I do apologize, but shout out to you guys for watching this, man. It's B4. Let's do it. We're going to be live tonight. I'm super excited. Eradicate. Treasure collecting is the ability once during your turn. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may look at the top 4 cards of your deck and put all item cards you find there into your hand and shuffle the other cards back into your deck. Okay. I mean, all right. So, you know, if we go back here, we did have... Hold on. In the lightning section, we did have, that's actually good for fossils as well. So that's like fossil search. I mean, I don't know, you know, Chingling exists, but we do have the new Rotom. So like, you know, Eradicate allows us to kind of find a bunch of item cards and use them, of course, because you're not limited to using them. And then you just, you know, you use them and you find them, you use them. Pachirisu also, you know, discards off the top of your deck. So, I mean, there's a world where like the Rotom stuff, the problem with this attack is it's 10 more for each item card in your discard pile. Like, how many items are we playing? Like, how are we ever going to deal like a lot of damage with this? This cannot be good. If it was 20 for each, why is it only 10? Why is it only 10 damage? Like, we got to get 10 items in our discard to hit for 130. Like, that doesn't seem very strong. Dedenne can just do 160, like, for not really anything. I don't know how I feel about the Rotom stuff, but there's Eradicate. Item search is, in fact, just strong in general. So this is a card that just could be really relevant in, like, a variety of different decks. Like, you could just play this Eradicate, like, anywhere, you know, because, like, every deck plays item cards that they kind of want. So, I mean, it's quite a good effect. We'll see. New Eevee, we're going to skip through all of this. Here's a new Delcatty. Energy Blender 50. You may move any amount of energy from your Pokemon and play to the other Pokemon. Well, I mean, sure. I don't know. What is a Samesies Slap? Kecleon. Colorless, 80 basic, single energy attack cost 20. If this Pokemon and your opponent's active Pokemon have one or more of the same type of energy attached, this attack does 30 more damage. All right, I don't think so. I'm sorry, buddy. Next up is Unfaisant. You know, Gen 5, probably not a goat. In fact, he's more of a bird, but he's Gen 5. 2 colorless energy, fly, 90 damage, flip a coin of tails. This attack does nothing. All right, I'm out. Sorry. Swanna EX. Shout out to Swanna. A card that I actually think is very underrated. We talked about this. We actually built a deck around this. I think Turbo Swanna is actually going to be quite dangerous. Something that I'm quite excited to play. So shout out to Swanna. It's colorless. It's quite good. There is a new Furfrou with Fur Coat. However, this has Retaliate. So single energy 20. And if any of your Pokemon were KO'd last turn, it does 50 more. So 70. But I don't think this is going to see play over the other Furfrous, but it is interesting. We got another one. A new Type Null and a new Silvally. Although I do think these cards are objectively worse because this has 3 energy in the attack cost and this has 2. Now, I love Silvally and I wanted to come back into the metagame, but Silvally, as people tell me, it's called Silvally. Gold Breaker, 3 colorless energy, 60 damage. And if your opponent's active Pokemon is an EX, it does 90 more. 90 more. So 150 for 3 on a, it's not bad. You can't Wally to it. It's not a stage 2. I just think the other Silvally is better, to be honest. Anyway, let's get into the trainer cards because we're an hour in, my word. And there's quite a few of them. Jeez Louise. We got the new fossils, Claw Fossil and Root Fossil. But here, look, Order Pad, a new item card. Flip a coin of heads, put a random item card from your deck into your hand. There we go. Okay, figured it out. We're just going to play Order Pads. Now, you can only play 2 of them in your deck. And now you will discard this when you play it, and then you can just maybe grab another one. So it's not terrible. Again, though, like if we're playing just like 2 Rotoms and like a bunch of item cards, like I don't see it. Like that's just maybe not though. Maybe it's crazy. I could be totally wrong about this. I definitely could. If you're playing double Rotom, double Eradicate, where does that, how many cards does that leave you? You know what I mean? You still got to play Research and Copycat. So all of a sudden you only have like 12 slots in your deck. I don't know. I don't think it's that good. I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gassing up Rotom, but anyway, Deceptive Needle, a new tool card. This is the dark type one I was talking about. At the end of your turn, if the dark Pokemon this card is attached to is in the active spot, do 20 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So this is only at the end of your turn. So it's like a half of a Rocky Helmet, but you don't have to get attacked to do it. This is interesting, right? I mean, you could play this in a lot of different things. Could be good on Hydreigon. It's basically just 10 free damage. And you don't have to get attacked for it, right? So it's like pretty good. Hoopa's going to allow you, like you combo Hoopa, Deceptive Needle, Darkrai, all of a sudden like you're dealing like plus 30 to the active. It's interesting. This is an interesting tool card. It's got some potential, okay? It's got some potential. I don't know if it'll be better than Poison Barb or Rocky Helmet, but you don't have to get attacked for this to proc, which is pretty cool. And it happens on your turn, not your opponent's turn, so they can't just like discard your tool cards and then wipe it out. So there's that upside. Next up, Clear Veil. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Prevent all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to the Pokemon this card is attached to. However, existing effects are not removed. Unfortunately, that's a big caveat there. Now, this would be sleep protection, right? So for things like Igglybuff or anything that puts you asleep, that is an effect of an attack. So any Pokemon that is wearing the Clear Veil will be immune to all sleep conditions of attacks, which is interesting. That's quite strong. So like, Milotic, Darkrai, Igglybuff, Espeon, like the Swablu, the list goes on and on. So Clear Veil is really, really strong. And it's nice that they gave us this card. However, you got to understand, existing effects are not removed, okay? So Igglybuff, if it does attack you on turn 1, you can't just attach Clear Veil and then wake up. It doesn't work that way. You're gonna have to attach this before you get attacked. And as we know, Igglybuff can attack you on their first turn. So this is a good card. This is a very good card. Will it see play? Maybe. It will stop burn and poison from Sceptile Blaziken, which is relevant. So this has a lot of potential here. Now, it doesn't stop abilities, okay? This is effects of attack. So Greninja Water Shuriken, forget about it. Darkrai, Nightmare Aura Ping, forget about it. Like, it's still happening. But Clear Veil is really cool. So it's nice they gave it to us. I wish they just fully committed and allowed it to also wipe the effects if you attached it. Existing effects are not removed, okay? So keep that in mind. You're going to have to still play PCL. Couple new supporters. Psychic. You can use this card only if your Pokemon in the active spot has the Psychic attack, which we saw that, right? It was Mewtwo. Choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and move a random energy from it to your opponent's active Pokemon? What? Choose one of your opponent's benched Pokemon and move a random energy from it to your opponent's active. What did Psychic do? Hold up. I'm pretty sure the only Psychic we saw was Mewtwo, but I could be wrong. Maybe we have other Psychics already in the game. Oh no, right here. Hypno does Psychic. And so does Mewtwo. All right, anyway. This deck does 40 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. All right. Listen, I'm not hating. I'm not hating at all. I just I don't see it. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not playing that. That's not something I think is that good. Whatever. Anyway, next up is Drayden. What was that? What is that? Psychic Drayden. During this turn, one of your opponent's Pokemon is chosen one more time for the Draco Meteor attack used by your Pokemon. Wait a minute. Now, I believe that Noivern was the Draco Meteor, right? But doesn't like Dragonite in like other Pokemon have Draco Meteor? Okay. So now we can do 64 times. So 240 on Noivern? Okay. That's crazy, actually. So, okay. So you gotta play Drayden the same turn as you're attacking with your Draco Meteor instead of targeting 3 times with Noivern, it would do 4. Does Dragonite have Draco Meteor? Is that what the old Dragonite does? Dragonite. Where is it? Dragonite. Yeah, it is. It's Draco Meteor. So this will allow you to hit for 250 on this Dragonite as well. Does Rayquaza have it? Is that what Rayquaza has? Hold on. Rayquaza. It's also Draco Meteor. All right. Okay. So just straight up Draco Meteor, I guess, support, which is crazy. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's interesting. There's a few Draco Meteor has been a card. It's been a strategy in the game for quite some time. Shout out to Drayden, which is pretty cool. Skyla, as we know, this works for your Swanna mostly. Switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. It's got to be a stage 1 though, and as we know, Swanna, it works with Swanna. There will be some effects to Skyla. Actually, this works with Wailord, doesn't it? So you can evolve your Wailord and then swap into your Sharpedo, or vice versa. That's interesting. I guess Sharpedo has Favorite Retreat. Any stage 1 Pokemon can utilize Skyla, so Wailord might be pretty relevant there. However, lastly, that we haven't talked about yet at all on this channel is Soothing Shore, a new stadium card. This video might not even get uploaded. I might be filling up my drive here. I might be out of storage. Soothing Shore. At the end of each player's turn, that player heals 20 damage from each of their Pokemon that has any water energy attached. Wow. So, yeah, I mean, that's strong. 20 healing to all of your water Pokemon with energies is quite a strong effect here at the end of each player's turn. So, like, you know, that's wild. Like, so it's at the end of your turn and at the end of your opponent's turn. That's plus 40 from all of your water Pokemon with energy. Yeah, man, that's crazy. This is going to be a pretty big deal, basically, for any water type deck. This to me might be on the same kind of level as Fragrant Forest, although it's very different in terms of its viability and its identity to the water typing. I think this could be a staple in any water type deck, just like how, of course, Fragrant Forest is for the grass types, and maybe how Rainbow Cave will be for fire types as well with Flame Patch. But yeah, this is really good. So okay, so we have Wailord now. This is crazy. You know what's crazy too is that you could play Snorlax EX with water energy because it doesn't have to be water Pokemon. So you could play Snorlax EX with water energy, with Soothing Shore, with Lucky Ice Pop, with Heavy Helmet, and it might just never go down. This has a ton of potential. So for any like really tanky deck that can play water energy, this is going to be a massive deal. This card is really strong. It's 20 at the end of each player's turn. What are we talking about there? That's insane. And then here's Rainbow Cave. Again, kind of the biggest story of this set, or one of them. Going to be a massive deal with Dragonair and Flame Patch. So very, very interesting stuff here. Man, what a set. Wow. That's all I got to say here. Tons of strong new cards. What do you guys think? I got to wrap up this video. We're getting long here. This is like the good old days where I just sat and talked for like 3 hours. Really, really strong. The metagame is very different. A lot of this stuff has a ton of potential. It's going to take so long for us to test all of these new decks, but the upside is at PocketMads.com, starting tomorrow when the new set releases, we can hop on the online ranked battle queue and match up into each other and then climb the leaderboard. It's going to be the best way to competitively test your meta decks in the first couple of weeks of the new season, which is really exciting. And then this weekend, you can play in PMPT number 40, Ruler of the Skies, $100 prize pool. Link to register down in the description below, and we're going to see how the metagame unfolds. Absolutely incredible, guys. Really, really cool stuff. I'm super excited about this set. I'm not going to lie. A lot of these cards seem really good. Here are all of the full arts. As you can see them here, there is quite a few. The rainbows are Vespiquen, Typhlosion, Mega Sharpedo, Wailord EX, Mega Gallade, Hoopa, Mega Metagross, Swanna EX, and the immersives are Rotom EX. Maybe Rotom is good, who knows? And then Mega Rayquaza EX. And what are the crown rares for this set? The crown rares are, oh, look at the shinies. So we're getting shiny Mega Swampert, Mega Gardevoir, Mega Lopunny, Zoroark EX shiny, Mega Kangaskhan. Okay, and the immersives are Dragonair, of course, or not the immersives, the crown rares, Dragonair, and then Evo Shock Raichu. I'm actually terrified about Evo Shock Raichu. That card has a lot of potential that I'm not super excited to see where that goes. But you know what, guys? Man, this one's a banger. Lots of crazy cards. The metagame is going to be changed. For sure, for forever, really. Dragon support is a really big deal. To me, that's the #1 calling card of the set, but a lot of this stuff is really strong. I got to wrap this up. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Definitely tune into the live stream tonight at starting at 9 p.m. Eastern time, where we do a max pack opening and we test out the new decks and we play on the PocketMads.com ranked ladder. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. So excited. Starting probably tomorrow and then throughout the rest of this week, we're going to be highlighting all of the best new decks. This is the place to be if you're looking to know which decks you're going to want to be playing in this new season. It's going to be so much fun. I'm really excited. The coverage is going to be insane. So much going on over the next few days. Very excited about it. Stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. What do you think? Comment down below. Let me know. All right. Peace out. Have a good one. We'll see you guys next time. And yeah. Bye.